Hello and welcome to Feminine Success Secrets. I'm Candice Oneida. This is the place that women come to become powerfully feminine. I have an incredible treat for you today in that I am interviewing a new friend of mine and colleague who has written another book that I have found so beautiful and profound and is so wonderfully in keeping with what I want to pass and transpire here. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. All right, so her name is Jill LeBlanc. You'll see her here on the screen already. So we welcome her here very much today. So Jill LeBlanc has 200 speaking engagements every single year. I don't know how she does that. She's a master publicity strategist and consultant and best-selling author. Jill consistently wows audiences worldwide with her entertaining and interactive keynotes, seminars, and training programs on publicity, networking, and influence marketing. She's actually shared her powerful networking and publicity strategies on the stages with Tony Robbins, T. Harv Eker, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, Laurel Langmeyer, I have to take a breath, Richard Simmons, and many others. Additionally, thousands of people have attended her popular crash course in publicity, where she teaches live several times a month at locations around the US and Canada. Over the past 25 years, Jill has worked with ABC, NBC, CBS, and other national and international media as a highly regarded publicity expert. She's been featured in the New York Times, Women's Day, Fortune Small Business Entrepreneur, and Inc. magazines. And there's so much more I could tell you about her, but I way prefer for you to be able to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And we're here today interviewing Jill about her latest book called The Profit of Kindness. It is already #1 in 4 categories on Amazon, which is absolutely incredible. And in my personal opinion, after reading the book, it should become a New York Times bestseller. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Jill LeBlanc.
Thank you, Candice. I appreciate being here.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm very excited to introduce you to my audience here today. And we are here really today to talk about the profit of kindness and the philosophy behind that. And
I have to show it. I
yes,
have to show
please,
my, you know, when you have a baby, you got to show off the baby, right?
Exactly.
So having a book is like having a baby. You know, some people have children. I have cats and books, 4 of each. I'm not kidding. 4 books, 4 cats.
And do you have little photos of them in your wallet that you show people, little photos of your books? And
that's so cute. I have them on my phone. I figure that's good enough, right?
Exactly. It's close enough, right? These days, that's the version of that.
That's kind of the wallet version. Exactly.
Absolutely. And we're definitely going to give you links in the description box here today about how to access this wonderful book that I highly, highly recommend. So let's dive in if we could today. So the very first thing I want to sort of dive into is, as she introduces this concept, I'm going to be reading some things here because I took copious notes when I was reading the book.
Oh, thank you.
So when she basically said, she creates the case for kindness, if you could say, and then she goes, this led me to implement kindness as currency in my own business. And I'd love you to talk a bit more about that if you could.
So I think that kindness is a form of currency, but I like actually thinking of it the other way around, the currency of kindness. One of the things, you know, when you are kind in your business, it comes around, goes around circles as kindness does. And then the truth is your kindness impacts other people, that their hearts swell, their spirits soar, they feel uplifted. I mean, think of it. Whenever the last act of kindness was given to you or that you gave unto someone else, how did you feel? Just think about that for a moment, and everybody feels uplifted. I haven't met one that doesn't.
And even if nothing ever came back to you, it's its own currency for yourself, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We can fill a bank account with that, and certainly feed our soul and keep our soul very rich.
I would definitely put
yes.
kindness in the category of what I call spiritual currency.
Absolutely. And business currency. Here's what's interesting in Profit of Kindness. What I found consistently is that companies that are more kind, people that are more kind, Number one, they tend to attract and have wealth. They have happy customers. They have employees that are pleased to work with them. They have wonderful clients who appreciate them. They tend to have better health, better happiness, better of everything. Wow. Because guess what? They're kind. It comes from that place, and it certainly keeps the cycle going in a positive way.
Beautiful, beautiful. I feel like I want to rewind a little bit to create the case for what so many of my viewers will relate to. If I could read some excerpts from the book, if that would be okay with you.
Thanks so much. Sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. So Jill writes in her beautiful book, unfortunately, many people believe that they must be hard, tough, and unyielding in order to succeed, compete, or belong. They think they have to appear to be strong, decisive, and being a softie who shows a gentle kindness. And being a softie who shows gentle kindness. So they don heavy armor and prepare for battle. Many justify their hard-edged behavior on the grounds that business is dog eat dog, or that only the strong survive. Now, my whole business and this channel is set up on, or for, if you like, what I call the woman that is stuck in man mode, right? We've been trained by the sort of the rapidly outdating patriarchal paradigms, where we've been sort of taught this compete, fight, and win mentality. So can you just speak a bit to that with regard to the profit of kindness?
Sure. And, I think you hit the nail on the head. This is that kind of economy in most of the Western world. And the interesting thing is, in business now, I think the tides are changing. I'm doing corporate training, and I'm being brought into companies to help them with their teams, to support the bullying process that's often going on, to have people listen to each other better, to practice kindness in the company. And the good news is, kindness is a word being reflected in companies' mission statements, companies' annual reports. And certainly, I think all of us can think about companies that we've worked with, bought from, participate with, airlines we've flown on, that when they're kind, wonderful things happen.
I seem to remember your quote in the book that you said that you, at all cost, if you can, and if the route is there, that you fly with Southwest.
Absolutely.
And I do the same. Just the way they behave for a start, like the staff seem to be quite empowered to do things human for the people that are flying. And then they've also got business philosophies around the easy, rerouting and inexpensive rerouting and the like, that for me just speaks to my life and my lifestyle. And I feel taken care of. I feel that there's kindness in the way they've set up their business policies.
Yes. And lots of flexibility, in profit of kindness. Yes, we talk about return on kindness. Everyone's always talking about ROI, and we talk about ROCs, ROK. Flexibility is one of those important pathways. And I must say, Southwest Airlines has a heart in the middle? So does profit of kindness.
Yeah.
It has a heart in the middle. And I love that Southwest Airlines puts a heart in their logo. Isn't that hot?
Yes.
That is so wonderful.
Right. And the wings. I love that. It's the heart with the wings. Yeah.
Yes. It's so wonderful. And that is their philosophy. And in fact, I sent a copy to Southwest Airlines CEO, and I actually got a letter back. Yay.
Oh,
yeah. So that's a wonderful thing. But, I think, thank you. I think in these times that kindness does matter. I mean, Honda did a big car company commercial with kindness at its theme. Certainly kind bars, well, that's kind of obvious, but they're running kind commercials now, and they're defining it, which I love. And by the way, I interviewed the CEO of Kind Bars, which are doing a great job of getting their promotion out there. But I do think, and it doesn't matter, you don't have to be a big company to be a kind company. You can have flexible philosophies, and as women, I think as women, we really need flexibility. We need compassion. We need generosity. We need connection, for the words from my sevenfold path to kindness. So, I'll give you a great example.
They're totally feminine words. I think this is why when you approached me at that retreat, I went, oh my goodness, this is totally within the philosophy of a feminine-based business and a feminine-based, reorienting to the feminine end of the spectrum in terms of how we do business, how we communicate, how we be with our clients and our vendors and our partners. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, like I'm a PR consultant. That's really how I make most of my living. And one of my women who is a client showed up for our session, and I could tell in her voice, this was not a good day for her. She had stress. She was tired, whatever. I said, you don't sound like this is the best time for you. And I'd really like, it's okay if you'd like to reschedule. And she was like, really? Really, Jill? Like, your policy says that, you have to keep your sessions, right? You got to have rules. You do have to have policy and rules. I said, yes, but 80% of the time the rules work, and 20% of the time we need to be flexible.
I do
so
the
don't
same
worry
thing.
about it.
I do the same thing. Like I have, you really have to give me this 24-hour, cancellation policy, but I'm flexible with it according to circumstances. If someone just doesn't turn up, or if they're in resistance, But if something's going on in their life, of course I'm going to go, it's fine, don't worry, we'll find a new time for you. How can I support you?
Yes. And I do think, and then there's an interesting time between being resistant and then holding people's feet to the fire, right? Because in PR, people might get scared occasionally, and I have to say, listen, we've got to stay in action. We've got to stay part of it. Yeah.
This is such a great example. I've got more things I want to read from your book, but this is a really good example of what I call the balance between masculine and feminine. Because in business, and if we're either working corporate, so just so you know, my background is corporate. I was corporate Australia for the first 12 years of my career before I became an entrepreneur for the last 25 years. So I've kind of run the gamut of that, and I've been a consultant. So I've kind of done corporate, full-time, consultant, entrepreneur. So I kind of know all those different fields. And we need the structural component of the masculine to be able to do business. It's just if we're doing it all the time, we're always in the masculine, that's when there's problems for us women. Like just on a hormonal level alone, we end up completely, I'm thinking of the wrong, oxytocin's the one we need. We end up under too much duress. We don't have the testosterone. We don't have the hormonal thing to keep up the compete, fight and win orientation, right?
Well, and we need both. Feel good. Yes.
No, it doesn't feel good to us. We need to have space. We need to have out breath. We need to have community. Like, I know this is not quite the same as us sitting in the room together, but it does afford a certain amount of community, definitely collaboration and connection and support. It's like, I heard about your book. It's like, wow, how can I support you? What can I do? Oh, I can interview you. I can reveal you. I can share you with my community, right?
Yes.
And so these are feminine things that become exponentially valuable. Like there's an exponential thing there in terms of how we work differently than the lone woofing thing. And I'd love to sort of just do another quote here if I could, because I think it leads into this. Again, I'm often speaking to my viewership that are the man mode type that have been kind of stuck in that piece. So there's a core belief out there, we'd say, when you decide to get into business, you begin swimming with the sharks. Therefore, every business decision, idea, innovation, and communication is based on staying alive in those infested waters. And Jill says, except I don't agree. Neither do I. My version of doing good business looks less like bloody shark-infested waters and more like a Finding Nemo movie. We're making for magical, harmonious, colourful, fun experience, and always with a great lesson at the end. I just loved this quote. Tell us more about that.
Well, I have to laugh because I have to tell you one thing. I just have to show the book again, because on the top of Profit of Kindness, let's see, I think you can see this.
Yes, absolutely.
There's a quote by Kevin Harrington right at the top and said, profit of kindness is what every shark needs.
Oh.
Because Kevin Harrington, for those who don't know, was actually the original shark on Shark Tank.
Exactly.
And I just thought that was just
it's
so
associated
funny.
with Shark Tank.
Always.
I hear Kevin Harrington, I hear Shark Tank.
Exactly, because that was his thing, right? But the point is, you don't have to be a shark to be kind. And
to be successful, right?
To be successful,
to be profitable, and to be
absolutely. And many companies have been in business with kindness at their helm, and more than just Kind Bar, which has done very, very well in the marketplace. But Honda, Southwest, Hyatt. In Profit of Kindness, we found out that Hyatt hotels had given many of their managers the opportunity to pick up bar tabs and give spa treatments away. I'm like, well, where was I at that Hyatt hotel? But that kind of option. The Ritz-Carlton is completely set on service, kindness, remembering what people love and want. And their rooms are very expensive per night. They're making quite a pretty penny, and what about, people pay them.
A lot of my viewers are sort of would be working for these companies, and they might be sort of mid-level or senior level executives in these companies. What would you suggest that they bring into their teams or their communication or speaking or collaboration as a worker in those big corporations?
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked, because I'm getting brought into these companies, and some of them I'm learning right along with them. But what's interesting is why I'm getting brought in is that companies are wanting kindness as a primary value. So that's the first thing, is you need to define it as one of your values, and to know that kindness encourages that kind of trust building and facilitates better teamwork, better cooperation, which of course contributes greatly to the bottom line and increases revenue for every company. And what I'm finding,
I bet it increases retention too for the corporations, because especially for women, I would submit, because one of the things that happens for women that is my vision is that they hit the glass ceiling partly. It's not just a revenue thing for them. It's not just an income thing. It's that some sort of inner values are not being met in that corporation. And so if those things are being met from our feminine, then they're more likely to stay. And in fact, as a woman, they're probably more likely to break through that ceiling. They feel welcomed.
Yeah. And by the way, retention and losing an average employee can cost $300,000 and more easily. Believe me, corporations don't want that, but they want happier employees, and employees want to be happier. And the stories I'm hearing on the not so good side is not being listened to, and not feeling cared about, and not feeling attended to, or that somebody's really not being what really amounts to kind, just listening and flexible. Employees want some flexibility, particularly in today's times, to take care of their children, especially women. This was really interesting. In the research, we talked a lot to not only men but women, and I remember going to a women's conference for recently, about a year ago, and one of the women was from Chevron. And one of the things she said was that in their company, she had just had a baby, and she really, she was breastfeeding, and she needed to bring the baby in. And she said she was shocked, but they actually allowed her to. And what she felt was that change of policy enabled her to take care of her child, to love the company even more, because they had actually gotten much more progressive in this. And, another woman brought her dog in, and, they were just much more open.
So even those big corporations are starting to mimic some of the more techie companies that are leading the way in some of these, more humanistic ways of dealing with their staff. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, come on, let's face it. We spend a lot of time at work, and those that are close to us, our dogs, our children, we care about. And books. I think women were coming, yes, at books, women were coming up and saying, hey, we've got to change this policy. Yeah. I think that's terrific.
Absolutely beautiful. Well, let's just quote some more from this book, if we could. Okay, so digging around in Darwinism will reveal the survival of the fittest theory, but it turns out we are wired for much more than tearing the eyes out of the weak. Built into our human DNA is the desire and need to bond, to connect in deep, meaningful ways. And Jill believes that connectivity of all things is the most critical component of successful business, because without trustworthy and loyal relationships, it's impossible to be in business. Hear, absolutely agree. Tell us more.
Well, let's be honest. What is business about? Relationships. I mean, yes, there are certain companies you just buy from because you want their products. But why do you buy from certain companies versus others?
They make you feel good. They make you feel good. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or, you're on the line with them and it's easy,
Yeah.
right? They make
Yeah.
it easy.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you watch, it just occurs to me right now, but, since we're girls, let's talk about this. Home Shopping Network and QVC.
Right.
I mean, first of all, I don't exactly watch them, but all of a sudden I'll be watching them. I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. And next thing I know, I'm pulling out my credit card. I'm buying something I probably don't need and probably won't wear very often. But why am I drawn in? Because the women, they do an amazing job of making you feel connected to it, making you feel like you're part of it, that you actually need it, that, oh, isn't this pretty with their little bangles and their beautiful, finger modeling but the point is they're having a conversation with you like you're a girlfriend, just like we're doing right now. And girlfriends, we buy together, we like to shop together, we like to commune together, we like to communicate and connect together, we like to hang out and drink tea or, sit and talk about whatever.
Always.
Right, exactly.
I'm always
right?
drinking tea intravenously.
Yes.
In all of your research, right? So it's a very well-researched, erudite book to read if you want the research. But I think there's kind of a bottom line which comes back to human connection.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's not only research, but it's so interesting because I think it's something that most people could agree on. And kindness is one of those things that we feel.
Yeah.
That not only is from our head, but from our heart. And we feel it, we know it, and it elevates us in that moment. It's not a wait for it kind of thing. It's in the moment.
Yeah.
That moment.
Can I ask you a quick question? I just thought of this.
Sure.
How did this start for you? Like what made you want to write this book? What made you want to, you obviously were having experiences, and then when you probably didn't go, hey, this would be a cool book. You probably went, hey, this is an important book. Tell me how that came to you.
Well, interestingly enough, I have an 82-year-old friend, and I have been friends with her for over 20 years. Now, she's getting older and she has aging issues, and I've been doing a lot for her. And, everything from some crisis to taking her out to lunch to get her out a little bit, to shopping for her and different things that she needs. So one day, in taking her to lunch, she looked at me and she said, Jill, you're so kind. And I wish that people were more kind. In fact, and she and I have talked about this before, how people just don't reach out a lot and, on the whole, and lots of exceptions, of course. And then she said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a new currency, the currency of kindness? Whoa. Well, as soon as she said that, I went, boom, 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 beep, 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 beep. You know how that goes, right? And
the wisdom of the years. Yeah.
Yes. And that inspired this book, The Prophet of Kindness.
Absolutely
is her and being with her and all the words she said.
Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful.
You bet.
Beautiful. All right. I'm just thinking, is there anything else that you would really love to pass the women that watch this show about to
well, I think my other big thing is that people talk about practicing in random acts of kindness. I would really like people to practice conscious acts of kindness.
Active acts of kindness.
Conscious, yes. Yeah. Conscious. And, every day, just do something. Send a nice text, write a handwritten note, connect someone to somebody, stop and smile at a person you're passing, ask somebody how they are, like at a fast food restaurant or your coffee place. Or, I just went out for Japanese food today. This woman, she always remembers, I want tamari sauce. She always remembers things that are important to me, always. And I realized, oh my gosh, I'd probably been here 5 times. I hadn't asked her name. So, simple, small things that make a big difference, and just really seeing people, those that serve you and those that you serve, but also really all around you, your team, your spouse, your kids. Just practice conscious acts of kindness.
There's so many ways. One of the things I love doing, I teach, is the 3 gratitudes at the end of the day. And so somebody has a partner, if not, they can share 3 things you've been grateful for today. And I love this sort of extending this to, you could do, if it's just one conscious act of kindness a day, consciously thank someone for something they've done, consciously acknowledge somebody on the street, just a smile to somebody that's looking a bit sad on the street could change their day or their destiny.
Well, you know what? You're going to laugh. This same 82-year-old who I love, she just turned now 83. She came to my book signing the other night at Barnes & Noble. And it was wonderful because one of the things we were talking about, I encouraged them all to share some acts of kindness. And one of the things she said was, I love getting someone to smile and to laugh, especially the ones that look pouty and very upset,
Yes.
won't even make contact with me. She goes, those are my favorites.
Aw. At 83, she's still trying to get the pout out of people.
Is that great? Is that
That's
great?
so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, well, I think this is a beautiful way to wrap up here today. And I'm wondering if you could share with the viewers how they could connect with you and how they could connect by the book, basically.
Yes, please. Okay, so I'm just so you can remember, go to profitofkindness.com, profitofkindness.com, and that'll take you through to all your favorite places to buy it. You can also go to Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore. And then if you want to talk to me, this is how you spell my name, but JillLublin.com. And for those just listening, it's JILLLUBLIN, JillLublin.com. Let me know how I can help you. I help people with their messaging, getting book deals, all kinds of fun things. Just let me know how I might help you.
And just so you know, for the viewership, we will put that information down in the description box so that you can actually just link through to find out more about Jill Lublin and to find more about the Profit of Kindness. So I just want to personally thank you so much, Jill, for being here today and sharing your incredible wisdom and your beautiful new book with us that will be a New York Times bestseller soon enough.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Beautiful. And in closing here, remember, when you have the courage to go out there and shine, you give others permission to do the same. So let's go out there and shine this week. Bye-bye for now.